Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be going over my top NFL draft winners for the 2024 fantasy football season. Inside today's video, we're going to be going in depth into 7 different players who I believe that the NFL draft really helped out their outlook for the 2024 fantasy football season. But before we could get into things, I would like to ask that if you guys are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, then please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure that you do leave a like on today's video. It would help me out a ton. So without further ado, let's get into my top 7 biggest NFL draft winners for the 2024 fantasy football season. So we begin at number 1 with Caleb Williams, quarterback of the Chicago Bears. Now, I know basically everyone and their mother was predicting that Caleb Williams would land as the number 1 overall pick to the Chicago Bears, right? He was going to land in a position that was already very set up for a rookie quarterback to succeed, especially a rookie quarterback with the caliber of Caleb Williams, right? They bring in Keenan Allen in the offseason, and they already have DJ Moore on the team. But instead of maybe going with a defensive player with their second pick that they had in this draft, or instead of going maybe for an offensive lineman, they proceeded to draft Rome Odunze 9th overall. So now they add in yet another wide receiver that has the potential to be elite at the NFL level. So they have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze has to be the greatest number 3 wide receiver in the NFL ever, right? Wink, wink, kind of joking. But in terms of having an elite trio, an elite threesome, no diddy, this is a great spot for Caleb Williams now with all of these wide receiver weapons, right? And not to mention the fact that they already have Cole Kmet as well as DeAndre Swift. So again, while we kind of did already know that Caleb Williams was more than likely to be the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears come this season, I think in year 1, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, the upside is there for Caleb Williams to be a top 5 quarterback in year number 1. Now, I'm going to rank him that high? Of course not. Of course not. That would be a little bit crazy, but I definitely do believe that the upside is there. At number 2, we move to Zamir White, running back of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, while the team did not make a move in the NFL draft to get a quarterback early, I thought that was definitely potential with the fact that they bring in Gardner Minshew, and I don't really think Gardner Minshew is the long-term answer. But while they didn't do that, they also didn't draft a running back until the 6th round. So while maybe the addition of a new quarterback could have potentially bumped the stock up of Zamir White, the fact that they didn't bring in another running back until that late really tells me that Zamir White is going to be the clear lead back on that team. With pick 208, they select Dylan Lobb out of New Hampshire. Lobb isn't some certified bum, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this guy is absolutely atrocious. But with the running backs they have there, like Alexander Madison and now Lobb, it's not like Zamir White is in some extreme danger to lose his lead role in this offense. In case any of you guys kind of forgot what happened last season, I know it's April, it's almost May, right? That all happened a couple of months ago. From weeks 1 through 14, Zamir White was playing second fiddle for Josh Jacobs, right? Josh Jacobs was an amazing running back, had a great 2023 season. I think Josh Jacobs is a very talented player. So, you know, it's not like Zamir White was going to pass him up, but then Josh Jacobs gets hurt, right? And Zamir White takes a stranglehold of this opportunity. In 4 out of 5 starts, he had over 100 all-purpose yards, averaging 3.2 targets per game as well. These were all matchups where the quarterback situation was still pretty bad. So I understand, like, Nick Gardner Minshew isn't the best. I get it, but it's not like the quarterback situation was way better last season when Zamir White was balling. So I think with the fact that there isn't much competition around Zamir White, this guy really does have the upside to potentially be a top 12 running back in 2024 fantasy football. Again, you're going to have to draft him that high? Of course not. but the upside is certainly there. Number 3, we got Tua Tago, quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Now, as a Miami Dolphins fan, I was definitely a bit frustrated at the fact that I thought that the team was going to address either the guard or center position in the draft. I think those were our biggest needs. And instead, they drafted, in my opinion, what is a project tackle in Patrick Paul. But again, I'm not going to sit here and necessarily complain because I think they could still bring back Connor Williams. I think the offensive line will be fine enough. And for Tua's point, they actually went ahead and took some shots at fun skill position players, right? In the 4th round, they draft Jalen Wright, another Jalen, to add to the Miami Dolphins. Running back out of Tennessee, the man has lightning fast speed. He ran the 40 in 4.38 seconds. 4.38 seconds and averaged 7.4 yards per carry last season. Not only is this man fast as a motherfucker, he can also catch passes out of the backfield, which adds even more upside to him and helps out Tua Tago. The team also drafted Malik Washington out of Virginia. He's a wide receiver in the 6th round, and in the 7th round, they drafted USC wide receiver, another Washington, Tage Washington. While neither of these guys are going to surpass Hill or Waddle, and neither of these guys are going to be huge players game in and game out for this team, and they're not even guaranteed to actually make the team. But I do think that adding to the wide receiver hierarchy was definitely something that the Dolphins needed to do, especially when their wide receiver 3 is Braxton fucking Berrios. So I do really like the addition of the wide receiver depth to this offense. And I like the fact that they got another fast running back, right? This is going to be a high potent offense yet again. Tua Tago was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL last season. He was the 2023 NFL leading passer. And I think based upon the roster that they constructed, as long as Tua Tago can figure things out against these better NFL teams, right? Not just beating down on these bad teams. If they can produce against the better NFL teams, then the upside's really there for Tua. Obviously, limited by the fact that he doesn't run the ball too much, but I still do think that the additions in the draft will help out Tua Tago for 2024. At number 4, we got Devin Singletary, running back of the New York Football Giants. So Saquon is gone. He basically ripped Giants fans' hearts out and stepped on them, right? Going to the Philadelphia with the Eagles. So Devin Singletary shows up there from Houston. And this is a team that does nothing to the running back room, right? They don't add anyone in the draft. Behind Singletary, we have guys like Eric Gray, Tyrone Tracy Jr., and Gary Brightwell. Nothing that even remotely moves the needle, right? None of these guys are going to really put some fear into you, make you shiver like Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining. So I really do think that this is a great spot for Singletary to just be the guy. He has the clear reins in the backfield. Now, I will note that obviously you can say what you want about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones probably isn't the best, right? So there's reasons to worry about this offense, and that's why you're not going to have to pay a pretty penny to draft Devin Singletary, right? This is a team that added to their offensive line the offseason, and hopefully they won't be a turnstile offensive line like they were last season, letting Daniel Jones get plowed behind the offensive line all game long like his name was Riley Reed. So I do think that while Daniel Jones isn't the best, I think adding neighbors to this offense should be able to make Jones a somewhat serviceable quarterback. And hey, if things don't work out, they still got Drew Lock as well back there. So to me, Singletary is basically just another guy like Zamir White, right? Was sneaky good when given the opportunity. When Dameon Pierce was on the struggle bus, right? When Dameon Pierce was running like there was a stick shoved directly up his ass, Singletary was able to take over. And this is a backfield where Singletary is granted all of the opportunity. Now, in Houston, was he the most consistent running back? No, he wasn't. But this is a guy that has top 10 weeks in him. And again, based upon where I think he's going to get drafted, I think he will certainly be a value because of the amount of touches he will see game in and game out. The number 5 NFL biggest draft winner would be Marvin Harrison Jr., Maserati Mav, now of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, just like Caleb Williams, we pretty much all knew Maserati Marv was going to be an Arizona Cardinal. Now, there was still a chance that some crazy trade happened or that for some reason, maybe the Cardinals don't like Marvin Harrison as much as we thought they would. They drafted a different wide receiver, right? But the tea leaves, reading into things kind of showed us that Marvin Harrison was going to be a Cardinal. Now, this landing spot is great because there is absolutely zero chance that he is anything outside of the clear number one target in this offense. Now, Kyler Murray gets a lot of guff, right? A lot of people like to dance on the grave of Kyler Murray, right? He's short, this, that, and the other thing. And sure, while it's funny, at the end of the day, Kyler is still a very good, if not a great NFL quarterback that is going to force feed the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. This is a guy that people have got down on their knees and given the Gawk 9000 special to. This is a guy that legitimately could be a generational prospect. This is a guy that can be a clear league winner. And I think in Arizona, that upside is very prevalent. At number 6, we got Zack Moss, running back now of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Cincinnati backfield was another team that saw no addition in the NFL draft. And in my opinion, this backfield is going to be shared between Zack Moss and Chase Brown, with Zack Moss being the lead back. Zack Moss was essentially lights out, right? Like when The Undertaker shows up last season when Jonathan Taylor was banged up. He played the first 5 games of the season. He was the lead back. 4 top 12 performances in those top 5 games. Now, prior to last season, Zack Moss was essentially no bueno. He was not very good. He was quiet. He was not very good since being drafted in 2020 by the Bills. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that after a few solid games that Zack Moss is Saquon Barkley, that Zack Moss is Christian McCaffrey, that Zack Moss is whatever NFL running back you want to put on a high pedestal, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that would be stupid. But I do believe that you can't just take away those games, right? You can't just say, hey, Zack Moss had a couple of good games. He's a bum outside of that. What I would say is, hey, Zack Moss played solid in those games. And if given the opportunities, if given the reins in a Joe Burrow Cincinnati Bengals offense, where they added no running backs, it's going to point towards a solid workload for Zack Moss that could lead to potential very, 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 very good production. Very, very nice. I like. Shout out to my man Borat. At number 7, to close out today's video, we got Justin Jefferson. Now I know, Nick, how could Justin Jefferson be a huge NFL draft winner? They drafted J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy this, J.J. McCarthy that. Now, I'm not some J.J. McCarthy stan. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I think J.J. McCarthy is this, that, or the other thing, right? I don't know how good J.J. McCarthy will be, frankly, because he was put on a Michigan team that was loaded to the gills. On a team where essentially all he had to do was not play like an absolute buffoon and they would win. Amazing offensive line. They had a great defense, great playmakers, all of that. So again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that J.J. McCarthy is this next best thing, that J.J. McCarthy is even as good as Kirk Cousins. But what I will say is that I think that J.J. McCarthy is better than the alternative, and that alternative is mono man Sam Darnold. Now, I don't know for sure if McCarthy will be the guy in week 1. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I would guarantee, bet my life, mortgage the house on the fact that I think that J.J. McCarthy will be the starter week 1. I'm not going to say that. But I think all it will take is 2-3 games of watching Sam Darnold go out there and be Sam Darnold for the Minnesota Vikings to realize that J.J. McCarthy should be the starter. So again, we all know Justin Jefferson probably would have been just fine with Sam Darnold, but I think J.J. McCarthy will make things even better because J.J. McCarthy is smart enough. You could say what you want about his skills on the football field. He is smart enough to see, hey, that's J.J., or hey, that's, I guess technically still J.J. Hey, I'm J.J. McCarthy. That's Justin Jefferson. Let me just throw him the fucking ball a million times. So I think Justin Jefferson will be just fine. So let me know down below in the comment section if I missed anyone, right? There are some other players that you could mention. Maybe a guy like Rico Dowdle in Dallas, right? They don't really bring in any running backs in the draft, but I don't think Rico Dowdle's very good. So that's just kind of my take on that. There might be some other guys that I missed that you guys want to talk about. You can talk about in the comment section. I love talking to you guys down there. We are now past the NFL draft. Obviously, that's how you get an NFL draft winners video. So now it's time to start really looking into things. I know it's May, it's April, getting into May. Not a lot of people are locked in right now, but I'm starting to lock in for you guys, right? We're going to be posting a lot more content. I genuinely appreciate all the support that you guys have shown me. I love you guys all so much, and I'm just very excited that now, hey, all these guys are on teams. Now it's very exciting to talk about them, and I hope you guys had a great Sunday. If you're watching this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day you're watching this, it's coming out on Sunday, but if you're watching this on Tuesday, I hope you have a great Tuesday as well. So I do love you guys from deep down in the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys have a great one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!